Is it a good morning? It's a very, very good morning for India. They finished it up early, 4 wickets away they were at the start of this day five's play. And Bangladesh have been wrapped up for 324 in their final innings. Shakib Al Hasan, the lone star really in the second half of this innings. Zakir Hasan, of course, a test debut 100 as well for him. But Shakib Al Hasan fought valiantly, fought really hard. But clearly it wasn't going to be. And India win this first test match by 188 runs. DK joins us once again on Cricbuzz Chatter. My name is Manish Batavia. DK, it should have happened yesterday, but it's good that it's happened. A test win is a test win. Comprehensive win, this one.
I mean, it's obviously we want it to happen yesterday, but I think taking the game to the fifth day and the fact that they won convincingly is more important. I think all the bowlers got enough opportunities. The fast bowlers had their crack as well. Overall, I think the second innings they were pushed much more. Bangladesh batted way better. It was good to see India coming out and doing what they can do on a slow wicket, creating opportunities. So very convincing, happy win, but nothing comes easy in Test cricket. Here is another example that you got to fight and earn your victories, and that's exactly what India did today.
Give me a sense of what the mood is like, what the hunch is for bowlers when they go in, and you know that there is a pair that can trouble us. They can needle the bowling lineup a little bit. Mehdi Hasan and Shakib Al Hasan, they were slowly stitching together a solid partnership, a partnership 44-45 that took Siraj to come in and get Mehdi out. But what's the zone like when you're going into day five in a situation like this? Is one part of you thinking, hang on, if these guys last the session, what if?
That'll be a very minute part where they don't believe they can pick up that wicket, and a partnership will probably happen, and that could put them in some sort of pressure towards the second session. But there is also a very, very large part of their mind which will be saying, just get the one wicket, the other three we can roll over much quicker than what happened before that. So I think that thought will be at the forefront of the bowlers walking in today, and that's exactly what happened. The moment Mehdi got out, obviously Shakib trying for more shots and then getting out, and then it was a matter of time before things subsided, and India could roll out Bangladesh. And we spoke about this yesterday. The last three, obviously not very renowned batsmen, and that's exactly how it panned out today.
Yes, Siraj got the crucial wicket of Mehdi Hasan. Kuldeep castled a hopping Shakib Al Hasan, who was having a bit of a party. Now, his innings, perhaps a function of the situation where, I mean, he had nothing to lose. He could afford to go for his shots, and that's what he did. It becomes easier for a batsman in a scenario like this, isn't it? Credit where it's due. He batted really well, but a lot of it was a function of the situation he was playing in.
Absolutely. As a batsman, you need to react to the situation. I think to that situation, he had nothing to lose. Go all hell for leather, get as many runs as you can, play some fancy shots, keep the crowd smiling. And that's exactly what happened. Played a few shots, that 100-meter six of Siraj. And when he ran out of steam at some point, you play one bad shot, you could get out, and that's how the game rolls. And that happened. And I guess he knew he was on his way back. What's going to be interesting is to see if he's going to be playing the next test as well. And we're going to see many changes to this Bangladesh team for the second test because of the injury issues happening.
Did Shakib Al Hasan give his fellow teammates a bit of a cue on how to tackle Akshar? Because the moment he went after Akshar, he looked like a slightly different bowler. He put him on the back foot slightly.
I think the left-handers in Bangladesh have played Akshar really well. It's the right-handers that need to find a game plan. And what makes Akshar really good? I think it's his speed. He bowls it at a much quicker speed to others. He's tall as well, has a decently high arm action. Around 11 o'clock is what he is bowling from, and maybe 10 o'clock you can say. But more importantly, on wickets like these which aid a little bit of spin, he is able to get the ball naturally to go straight and one to turn. So a lot of the people are covering for the straight one so that they don't get LBW. With the advent of DRS, what's happening is the moment it gets hit on the pad, the chances of you being given LBW is much higher. So they're trying to cover that one because that is a faster one. And if it turns a little bit, you get bowled. And that's where Aksar's greatest ability comes through, because he has that side spin on the ball wherein it hits the leather, goes straight, but if it hits the seam sometimes it will turn a bit, and that is what makes Akshar really hard to play as a right-hander.
Yes, he did get the three right-handed batsmen and one lefty as well. So Akshar Patel has made his presence felt, but there's someone else whose impact loomed large on this test match. Cheteshwar Pujara, easy pick for player of the match, isn't it?
Yeah, I think to be fair, I think He got two crunch knocks. The first one, obviously, India were under a little bit more pressure. Him and Shreyas had a lovely partnership. And the second innings, he followed through with 100. Albeit it being a very un-Pujara innings, it was really great to watch the speed at which he played and his personal fastest 100. So I think he deserves to be the man of the match.
Right? When Indian batsmen play in Australia, South Africa, England, and when they don't have a good time, they say, look, they play on unhelpful pitches back home. But what Pujara's done back home in Rajkot and Saurashtra has helped him here. Is that a too simplistic assessment to make?
I mean, to be fair, I think in Rajkot there's a lot more red soil wickets, so it's very different to what he's going to get in Bangladesh. But he's played on many such wickets. He knows what it takes to do well on these wickets. Where I give credit to Pujara is he played the T20s for Saurashtra, but then opted out of the Vijay Hazare. When they played the ODI format of the domestic tournament, he opted out. He wanted to prepare for this, and you could see why he was doing it, because he might need the time to obviously get into the test mindset. He knows this test series has to be counted, and that's what he did. He prepared for it. He generally practices a lot with his dad. He has a lot of net bowlers that they obviously have in Saurashtra. His dad has created a facility where a lot of people can come and practice for free, and Pujara tends to practice there and hone his skills, and that was something that he consciously made an effort towards before the series. And you can see the results that are coming through post that. You need to prepare really well, and Pujara is a great example of someone who's done that for this test series.
And runs coming in from the number three is a massive headache gone off the captain's shoulder, the coach's shoulder as well, because 5 key test matches coming up, followed by hopefully the WTC final as well. So Pujara scoring runs is like a fixed deposit in the bank. Nothing to worry.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to put it. He is a certain fixed deposit, and is a nice metaphor to use, because the chances of it going wrong is very less. And Pujara gets going, it gives you a certain stability. People can bat at good strike rates around, and he is a thorn in the flesh. We have seen on flat wickets sometimes, even in Australia, how he really troubles the Australian bowlers. So this is a good sign moving forward towards this Australian series and this World Test Championship final. I think it's a good thing if Pujara can keep his form and keep churning out runs just like this test match.
Well, the number three is a tricky one. It's a hot spot for any batsman. How about we put DK on the hot spot now? A lot changes in Indian cricket. A lot happens over a course of a series. But Kuldeep Yadav, has he done enough in this first test match for him to retain his spot in the 11 in those test matches at home against Australia?
I do think it has definitely made his case stronger. And I think if they're going with 3 spinners, Kuldeep will definitely be the third spinner. We know that Ashwin is one. Jadeja, if he's fit, will be the other. It'll going to be a toss up between Aksar and Kuldeep, and they will decide whether they want a finger spinner or a wrist spinner. I mean, if they do opt for the wrist spinner, there is no doubt Kuldeep is the one. So it'll be the combination of the 11 that he chooses, which the Indian team will be choosing. But for the moment, Kuldeep is the front runner because of his ability to use the turn in both ways, which could trouble the Aussie batsman. The last time he played in Dharamshala, he got 4 wickets against Australia. So, he's got a fifer in Sydney. We know his credentials. So there is a great chance that in the Australian Test series that he could be part of the 11. We will be playing 2 medium pacers and 3 spinners, I reckon, in most of the grounds. And that will give Kuldeep a good opportunity, a good shot at the 11.
Just for those who couldn't watch the live action and just saw the scorecard, and they'd say, okay, 5 wickets in the first, 3 not as perhaps impactful in the second innings. How do things change for a wrist spinner when the track is slowing down? Is there a science behind it?
So wrist spinners, obviously the technical part, they use their wrist to turn the ball. It's pretty self-explanatory. So if there is a little speed off the wicket, they become far more effective. Why are wrist spinners effective is because they can turn the ball both ways. Their wrists are generally very nimble and very supple, and they can use it to more effect than more than finger spinners, let's say. So that's what makes wrist spinners effective. But their effectiveness reduces considerably if there is no speed in the pitch. And that is why, as the game progresses, if there is lesser and lesser speed and help from the pitch, it becomes easier to play, especially off the back foot, because then you can wait on the ball, see which way it's turning, and then react to the ball. And hence, I felt that Kuldeep, obviously, like any other wrist spinner, might find it hard. Whereas if it is a wicket which aids bounce, then that will be great as well, because then that will be something that can give you a fillip, wherein you've seen Shane Warne over the years use that rough, create that bounce, Anil Kumble as well. So the wicket needs to give you something, either a rough created or a certain bounce that's available, that will make them far more effective.
Well, the wicket is going to be a topic of discussion. The curator might have a few questions to answer. I don't know if he's going to face the press, but I'm sure questions will be asked of this pitch as well. Time now to fast forward with Dinesh Karthik. Right. The second test match starts not too far from now, not too long from now in Mirpur. Rohit Sharma likely to come back. If he does, who sits out?
I mean, it's very sad to say, but I do think it would be Shubman Gill, because KL Rahul is the incumbent opener. He's the vice captain of the team, and you can't remove somebody on one performance. So it would have to be Shubman Gill, I guess.
Any other changes? Because the bowling looks pretty good as well. Umesh Yadav and Siraj have bowled really well. The spinners have done the job as well. So no reason to fiddle with that either. Or would you say let's go and give Saurabh Kumar a go?
No. I think they will play with the same 11. Just the one change, Rohit Sharma comes in for Shubman Gill. That would be the only change.
Right. Typically, you see coaches and captains talk about learnings from every test match, regardless of whether they win or lose. What have India learned from this test match about their resources, about the way forward, not just in this series, but keeping in mind the medium-term journey of India's test team, building up towards the World Test Championship final?
I think as a whole, what the Indian team would have learned is to persist with consistent bowling. And what I mean by that is, yesterday, when the Bangladesh openers had a good start, they couldn't run away with the game. The good thing that KL did through his captaincy was the fact that he kept the run rate under 3. It is a bit of an unwritten rule that even if the team is not losing wickets, if you can keep the run rate under 3, then the opponent is not running away with the game. That's what you want. You want a certain sense of control when wickets are not falling. And that was the good part about India's bowling yesterday. They never let the run rate go more than 3 at most points in the game. So every time they got a wicket, they came in, they got a couple more, and it felt like India was ahead in the game. And that is something that is very critical. With better batsmanship, they will obviously put more pressure and hit more boundaries, but still you have to find ways of trying to keep their run rate below 3 if you want to come back in the game consistently and put dents into their batting.
It happened in Australia. It's happened again in Bangladesh, being able to win a test match without the big guns. This bowling group has done well without Jasprit Bumrah, without Shami. Rohit Sharma is not in the 11 either because of an injury. So it augurs really well, saying there is a second group or a third group of players who can go on and win matches on the big stage.
100%. I think we've missed out Bumrah, Jadeja, we've missed out Shami. These three are very integral part of our bowling attack. These are good signs for Indian cricket to have such a good variety of options. But also, will they all play at different points of time is always going to be the question. And that is what is going to happen as the year unfolds. Who are going to move out? There are obviously people on the other side of 30. So how are they going to move out? We have replacements ready in many ways, and that has been the strength of Indian team. But sometimes when the Indian team doesn't do well, we always look at those people and say they have done well, why aren't they playing? So this will always be a catch-22 kind of situation.
Yes, but Bangladesh have a few things to sort out. Shakib Al Hasan played with an injury, couldn't bowl as much as he should have. It's looking like a tough one because they hardly have any time to recover. Here's their squad.
You do get the feeling that Taskin Ahmed will be a straight swap with Ibadat Hussain. What is going to be interesting is to see if Shakib Al Hasan is going to play, considering if he's not able to bowl, then they are literally hampered and handicapped to play with 4 bowlers. Are they going to be okay with that? That is going to be a big question mark for me. That is the area that they'll be looking at.
Yes, there'll be lots of previews and a lot of other feature pieces written about this India-Bangladesh series as well. And you've got to check out Cricbuzz Plus. That's where you've got to go. But just another point on building up towards the WTC final. Should India, I mean, I know maybe I'm sort of nitpicking a little bit, but these are questions that will be asked. Now, that's what's lined up for the Indian test team over the next a couple of months until March. India play against Australia at home, 4 test matches, before which they play another test match in a couple of days from now in Dhaka, Mirpur, the second one versus Bangladesh. It doesn't matter how India win, right? I mean, we shouldn't worry about safe wins and risky wins as long as India wins.
Definitely. I think the key is the result. We keep speaking about process, and I think it leads to a result. And I think the result is the key. They have their processes. We are just hoping they know what the process is for them to reach the WTC final. Who are the players that they want in form? What are the kind of bowlers that they need? So at this point of time, as India, we should be happy that they won a test match. That gives them the opportunity to win, the need to win 4 out of 5 from here on. If they can go ahead in Mirpur and get another win, that will ease the pressure in many ways going into the Australian series, trying to beat Australia 3-0.
December 22nd is when the second test match starts. India win this one by a whopping 188 runs. Can they make it 2-0? The captain could be back as well. So India will go into this test match with a ton of confidence, hoping to make it 2-0 against Bangladesh in Bangladesh. We've never beaten India in a test match. That record stands as it was before the start of this test match. Dinesh Karthik and I, Manish Batavia, will be back with Cricbuzz Chatter at Stumps on day 1 of the second test match. That's the evening of the 22nd of December. We'll see you then.